It's a whole 2 hours before y'all started searching. None of this is even gonna stick. Y'all are some disgraceful pigs. All this 3 hours later leads to arrest because of some disgraceful pigs that held them for 2 hours before they even started searching. Worthless fuckers. My phone's down. I gotta go. Know there's laws that y'all have to go by too, you disgraceful pigs. Disgraceful pigs, every fucking one of you. I lose my cool a little bit on this traffic stop. But when I showed up to this traffic stop, I heard the cop asking the driver, is there anyone else in the vehicle that can drive? So it sounded like they're about to cut them loose, and that's what they always do when I show up. But this traffic stop went on for 3 hours. And it may not look like it, but there's 7 people in that car. Only one of them, from what I gathered, one of them knew a little bit of English, and that was the driver. Most of this video is going to be at times 20 speed because a whole lot of nothing is going on. I mean, the cops are barely up there talking to them. Everyone stays in the car for the first hour and a half. That's when more cops show up and the K9 shows up. They end up eventually pulling all of them out. And then they search the car like everywhere, up under the car, under the hood, in the trunk. They searched for a good while. Then they pulled the dog out and searched with the dog. In the end, they ended up finding a little bag of weed. That's it. Oh yeah, and a big old wad of cash in one of the suitcases in the back. But with all 7 of them sitting on the curb, they took one at a time and took them off to the side by themselves and questioned each and every one of them. And as they called each of them up to question them, they had them sign something. So I doubt they knew or understood what they were signing. But they're more than likely signing their rights away. This is my opinion, but I think what they did in the end was based on the big wad of cash they found, but they arrested all 7 of them. No seatbelt, no seatbelt, no seatbelt, no seatbelt, no seatbelt, possession of marijuana, driving while license invalid, and failed to stop at designated stopping point. They probably didn't stop far enough back at the red light right before where they got pulled over. So a BS reason to make a stop. And nothing justifies them detaining them for an hour and a half before taking them out of the car and then searching. Whether they gave consent or not, nothing justifies detaining them for that long. So here's the video. Remember, it's at times 20 speed. I slow it down to regular speed at key times in the video, and when the officer decides to give me directives, of course. After 3 hours of recording, though, my phone ended up going dead, so I wish it didn't go dead. I wish I didn't have to leave, because I just seen them start to arrest the first person whenever I had to go get to a charger. Then again, I may have gotten myself in trouble if I would have stayed any longer. By that point, I was pretty pissed off, and I probably would have said more than what I ended up saying if my phone wasn't dying. I could actually be on that sidewalk.
Say what?
I could actually be on that sidewalk.
You can't be on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You're being my
As long as I'm not in your way.
Right there.
As long as I'm not in your way.
Right there.
As long as I'm not in your way.
All right.
As long as I'm not in your way.
Thank you, sir.
I think I should go to the sidewalk. That's the sergeant showing up. I don't know how long this traffic stop was going on before I showed up, but it had to have been going on long enough for the cop to run the driver's name and more than likely run all 7 of their names and then act like he's about to let them go. And that's whenever I showed up. And then I recorded for a little bit over 2 hours of recording before my phone started dying. And that's the K9 unit showing up. I yelled a couple of different times trying to explain to that driver not to talk to the cops, and he doesn't have to answer their questions, and they aren't allowed to detain him as long as they have. But that's when I realized he doesn't speak English, or not very much at least. Here's one of the huddles I was talking about earlier. They'll huddle up back there behind the car for 5-10 minutes, then go say one or two things to the driver, and then go huddle up again. They still don't feel safe enough to pull the people out of the cars. They're waiting on more backup to get there. Then again, there is 7 people. They don't know what any of them people are capable of, but if they don't have the backup for a traffic stop when it's happening, they can't hold them for an hour and a half until backup gets there. Just like they can't hold you till the dog gets there. They've detained these people for all this time, and you can hear people in the background right up that hill on the other side of the car, but you can hear them in the background racing down the highway on a Saturday night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but they ain't worried about them. I'm not saying these people in this car are here illegally, but another thing I want to point out, it doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen or not. If you're in the United States, you have all the rights that a U.S. citizen has. A lot of people don't know that. Cop number 5 and 6 just pulled up. Now here comes the other backup they were waiting on. Been well over an hour and a half at this point, like way over. This is where they start pulling out everybody and start searching. Shit, they got 5 people in the backseat. Holy hell. It kind of makes me wonder if they did get consent to search, because they don't start searching immediately. They kind of look through the windows and look for anything in plain sight. Another thing you'll notice here in just a second, just that one cop, he's a rookie, but the canine handler, He's the only one that gets into the car. The sergeant kind of follows him around every now and then. But the sergeant never puts his hands in the car. And, well, eventually he does, but he just stands back and lets him do it. He's not doing anything else either. I mean, he's still doing plain sight stuff, but he ain't participating in the search. Like I said, this is my opinion, but this is where I think the motivation on arresting all of them came in. Look at the sergeant's expression whenever he pulls that wad of cash out. Lots of money. The one they waited on for an hour and a half was the canine handler, the guy that's actually searching everything. It's weird that he's actually there now, but he's not even using his dog. They're not supposed to say a word. They're not supposed to guide the dog. Not supposed to do any of that. If they say one word or snap their fingers or anything, a lawyer can have that shit thrown out. But they ain't worried about it with these guys, I guess. And that's the same K9 handler and K9 that they brought out when I got stopped by that trooper Morante. The dog kept wanting to run off. That's kind of what he's doing right here. So right now they're questioning them, and I guess they're signing off on their Miranda warning too. Is what's going on here. So they're questioning each of them one at a time, making him show his tattoos, and I didn't see him sign nothing. This is bullshit. I wonder what the sergeant's whispering right here, trying to be all secretive. And that's Sargent Holt, the sergeant at Walmart during my incident. It's a whole 2 hours before y'all started searching. None of this is even gonna stick. Y'all are some disgraceful pigs. All this 3 hours later leads to arrest because of some disgraceful pigs that held them for 2 hours before they even started searching. Worthless fuckers. My phone's down. I gotta go.